What is up, guys? I'm back and we got a surprise for you because we are playing Zenless Zone 0 today. I will be showcasing the game's first rate up S rank character, Ellen, and talking about how I would build and play her. Since this is a new game, I will be explaining her kit and playstyle in a bit more detail than usual. But in summary, she is an ice damage main DPS. Alright, if you get in the game and look at her skills, you will notice that she has a lot of skill descriptions. Like I'm reading a novel just to understand this character. There's an entire essay just explaining different types of dodges she can do. But don't worry, I'll be going through each of them. And you'll find that she's actually pretty easy to use. Honestly, even if you don't understand or follow the best rotation, you will still be fine. Hopefully. Alright, the most important part of her kit is her flash freeze charges. You start with 0 out of 6 charges, which you can see at the top left of the UI. The main way you can get flash freeze charges is by entering her roaming state, by either holding your dash button or double tapping it. Double tapping the dash button is a bit faster than holding, but it's up to your preference. This will actually do a special dash unique to Ellen, and it makes her move very fast. While in this state, you can either do a basic attack, which will do ice damage and gives her 1 flash freeze charge. If you do a charge attack, you'll get 3 charges instead. So you should pretty much always go for the charge attack. Do this twice and you will be at 6 charges, like so. Why do we care about flash freeze charges? Well, it makes her basic attacks do ice damage. If you don't have charges, you will do physical damage. And if you look at her scaling for her basic attack, you'll notice that the flash freeze one has higher multipliers. And each base attack consumes 1 charge, so it's important to maintain her flash freeze charges while using her. There are other ways you can get flash freeze charges, which I will get to later. Also, if you basic attack and hit nothing, you will still consume charges, so don't miss. Now, this game has a mechanic called perfect dodge. If you dodge while the enemy has this indicator light on, you will get a perfect dodge. And you can tell because the game turns black and white for a little bit. It's kind of like PGR's dodge mechanic if you ever played that game. If you get this dodge, it will reduce the charge time when you build up your flash freeze charges. Take a look at this comparison. But that's not all when you get a perfect dodge. If you press your basic attack button right after getting a perfect dodge, you can do a counter attack which does ice damage, even if you don't have flash freeze charges. If you don't get a perfect dodge and you press your basic attack, you'll get a dash attack instead. The damage isn't high as compared to before, and if you don't have charges, you'll do physical damage, which is a big L. If you have charges, you will consume 1 charge and do ice damage instead. Now, let's look at her special attack. Ellen has 3 types of special attack, depending on her energy level. You can tell how much energy Ellen has at the top left of the UI. Your energy generates passively over time, but you can speed this up by hitting enemies or getting perfect dodges. The red marker shows how much energy you need for an EX special attack. The first special attack is used when you don't have enough energy. It just deals some ice damage, and the damage is pretty bad. Your flash freeze basic attacks have higher scaling, so I personally wouldn't recommend it. But if you have enough energy for the EX special attack, it will do very good ice damage. And you'll also get 1 flash freeze charge. If you use a basic attack right after this move, Ellen will use the 3rd hit of her basic skill, which you remember has very good scaling. So this is why you should use your skill if you have the energy to do so. However, if you have enough energy for 2 EX special attacks, you can combine them to do even more damage. You'll also get another flash freeze charge, and you can still transition to doing your 3rd basic attack after using your 2nd EX special attack. Her ultimate is just pure damage. You'll get a very cool animation, and it has very high scaling. But in this game, you can use your ultimate when you reach 3000 points, and these points are shared between your teammates. So if Ellen uses her ult, you will have to build up another 3000 points before you can use another ult. So you have to choose wisely on which teammate you want to ult with. The rest of her abilities require me to showcase with a teammate. These are called assists, where you can swap into Ellen and she does an attack depending on the situation. So for example, if I get knocked back, I have an option to use Ellen's quick assist, which swaps into Ellen and she attacks the enemy. You can also quickly enter her roaming state to get flash freeze stacks to help recover from the situation. Another type of assist is called defensive assist. Just like a perfect dodge, if you swap to Ellen at the right time, she will parry the enemy attack. And if you do a basic attack right after this, it will do ice damage and it hits pretty hard. This combo is called an assist follow-up. Ellen's chain attack, like her ult, is mostly pure damage. It doesn't do as much damage as her ult though, but it is her second hardest hitting ability. Here's what it looks like.
Where'd you go?
And finally, every character has a core skill. For Ellen, it's pretty easy to understand, because it's just additional damage when she uses her charge attack during her roaming state and while she does her basic attacks with flash freeze charges. Her additional ability is another damage boost for her when she is in a team that has another ice character or is in the same faction as her. Alright, so how do we build her? For equipment sets, I would go 4-piece Polar Metal. This is a very powerful set that buffs ice damage and basic attacks, which Ellen uses a lot. But I think you can also use 4-piece Woodpecker Electro. This is a pretty universal set that increases the character's crit rate and attack. For 2-piece set, I would use the one that gives attack percent, like Hormone Punk. For main stats, I would go attack percent, ice damage bonus, and crit. As for W Engine, which are like weapons in Genshin, obviously the signature is the best weapon. But if you do not have that, you can try Cannon Rotor, which I think you can get from the Battle Pass. And a free-to-play one will be the B rank Lunar Penniluna. Now, let's talk about Ellen's Mindscape Cinema, which is like constellations in Genshin. The first one is very good in my opinion, because you'll build up flash freeze charges almost instantly by using a charge attack. And you also get more crit rate the more charges you consume. C2 allows you to follow up with her second EX special ability after using her third basic attack, and you'll deal more crit damage the more flash freeze charges you have. C4 gives Ellen 6 charges if a teammate freezes or stuns an enemy, which is pretty good for utility. And C6 is just basically more damage. She also gets an extra type of stack, where if you get 3 of them, you'll do more damage once you do your charge attack during her roaming state. As for team comps, in this game, you have 3 characters per team. In my opinion, you want to put her with Sokaku. She is an ice character which activates Ellen's core skill buff, but also, once you get 3 Vortex stacks on Sokaku, you can hold her skill to activate her Fly the Flag ability, which triggers an attack buff and a quick assist to Ellen. If you swap to Ellen, the attack buff gets passed to Ellen, so she can deal even more damage. And if you have her Mindscape Cinema, C1 makes this buff last 8 seconds longer, and her C4 has ice resistance shreds, allowing Ellen to deal even more damage. Her other teammate should be Lycan, because he is in the same faction as Ellen and also an ice type. His EX special attack and assist follow-up also has ice resistance shred via his core passive, but considering he is a standard S rank character, it is unlikely most people will have him at this point. So I personally recommend Nicole, because she can group up the enemy with her EX special attack's energy field, and this energy field also has nice defense shred from her core passive. If you have her at C6, she can also give Ellen up to 15% more crit rate, which is always nice. Alright, so here is a showcase of C0 Ellen in Shiyu Defense Stage 10, which is basically Genshin's Abyss. My team rotation goes like this. I start by entering her roam state, and do 2 charge attacks to get 6 flash freeze charges. Then I swap to Lycan for the ice resistance shred. Then swap to Sokaku. Use her special attack 3 times to get 3 vortex stacks. Then holding it to get Fly the Flag, which triggers Ellen's quick assist. When I swap back to Ellen, now I can launch my EX special attacks and basics in between to do huge damage to the enemy. While this is happening, I also have to look out for enemy attacks and dodge them correctly. I don't want to get hit and get my rotation interrupted. But now let's look at C6 Ellen. I can build up my flash freeze charges way faster and complete my buff rotation a lot faster as well. Of course, I get much higher damage this time around and can beat this enemy much faster. Alright, that's it for my Ellen Guidance Showcase. I think she is a pretty good DPS, and I actually find the combat system in this game very interesting because of its dodging system. Let me know what you think about her and this game in the comments, and if I missed anything or said something incorrect, I will leave it in a pinned comment. Alright, that's it. See ya.